Hi, and welcome back. In this video, we just want to touch briefly on the layers of the energy body and why it is so important. We don't want to get too caught up in the strict lines around this because around the world, different cultures recognize literally hundreds of variations, bringing their viewpoint and belief on the different layers of our incredible energy field. We just want to look at the big picture and recognize there's various layers of energy around our energy body, which are vibrating at different frequencies. We've learned before that things vibrating at a higher vibration, we're not going to be able to sense with our physical senses, like radio waves. We can't look up in the sky and see radio waves, but as the frequency drops or as the vibration drops, we can experience things in our physical world, like our human bodies. We are vibrating slower than the radio waves, so we can, see and sense ourselves in the physical world. And as the energy drops even more, it becomes more solid, like walls and tables. So just recognizing that we're various fields of that vibrating energy. If we look at common traits within all of the systems, some of them can be very simplistic, and sometimes that is the easiest way to go. The simple concept of the energy field being body, mind, and spirit. The body being the physicalness of who we are. The mind, it would be like the emotional and the mental body. And then the spirit would just be simply all of the other layers above the physical reality, which some may consider like a spiritual plane or divine plane. But some people need a little bit more breakdown. So let's just get into that really quickly and kind of cover what some of the other layers may be considered or what they may include. We know that the physical, when we say physical, we know that's us, right? That's the vessel that's carrying the physical aspects of what and who we are. The next layers would be like considered like the emotional and the mental bodies. The emotional, of course, would be containing our feelings and our emotions, and the mental body is the layer that's processing those thoughts, feelings, and emotions. And we can also break this down if you want to think about it as like the higher mind, which would be connecting with spirit or the angels. The middle mind would, of course, very much connect with our physical mind. And then the lower mind, of course, would be like our subconscious and unconscious. And we've all tapped into that unconscious sometimes when maybe we're not thinking too focused on anything. We grab that tub of ice cream and keep eating it. Yeah, very much the unconscious, subconscious mind at play there. Another layer or layers could be like the chakra or the auric layers. And this is just recognizing that we're utilizing different energy centers to interact between the physical and the non-physical world. Most systems break this down into two different viewpoints, one being like a seven chakra system. And this is the one so many people, begin to learn and understand the vocabulary with that, with it being the root chakra, the sacral chakra, solar plexus, your heart chakra, the throat chakra, the third eye, and the crown. Other systems expand that onto 12 chakras, going beyond the seven primary centers. In both of these, you have the primary energy centers, which are the 7 or the 12. But within each of those, each of those beliefs, there's usually, and of course there's many secondary energy centers that are all over the physical body and our energy field. But looking at these layers, we just recognize that the subtle energy layers very much interact with the physical part of us. And we can look at the chakra auric system as like helping us manage the relationship between ourselves and with the relationship with those around us and the world around us. So those could be considered that layer. When you go a little bit higher, spiritual or divine layers could be seen as like a soul layer, which could be like the energetic aspect of our collective energy having an experience. And then like the spirit layer, which was very much like our essence, and that would hold like our spiritual or psychic gifts. And maybe that would also be like your spiritual mission or your purpose in that incarnation. Another layer, or the final layer, which I always, whenever I see this in a scenario, is like the energetic shell or the energetic shell layer or coating which would be like the electromagnetic energy body, which would be like the outer layer of all of your fields. Again, though, the concept to remember is simply that energy in our physical world is going to energetically impact the non-physical parts of us, and the non-physical energies around us are very much going to impact our physical world. These energies that are impacting us can be things like shapes, sounds, colors, angles, as well as thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, and there's so many other possibilities. So why are these layers so important? We talk about the energy field and cleaning up our energy field and cleaning up the light body, and sometimes that's what it's called. But why is this so important? Well, learning what's in our energy body can help us uncover why we may be physically sick, maybe why we're emotionally unbalanced, or perhaps why our lives are just not what we want them to be. Let's look at a few examples of this on how it works, though. So we know that emotions are energy, and that's something that's very powerful in our world, right? We all usually have an emotional reaction about many things that happen throughout our day, me being one of those. But if my dominant emotional energy is what I'm thinking and feeling most of the time, if that's happiness, then I'm going to probably, and I will attract more experiences that make me happy. And I'm going to attract other people that are happy. I'm going to have a very happy experience. But if my dominant vibration is very unsupported, I will have physical experiences that are attracting others who will reflect that back to me. The world around us is truly a reflection of what's in our energy field. This is really hard at first when we begin to recognize the patterns and we see things around us. We don't like to see that as a part of us, but when we can identify the patterns around us and look to see to the wound that's inside of us that may need a little focus or perhaps some healing, then wow, life can change that fast. And I had shared with you the story in the introduction about once I began to understand and change my thought process, I was able to, heal myself within 10 months when doctors could do it for years. It's that very mental and emotional body that I became very much in touch with and understood to learn about my life and what I was creating around me. So the outer world is very much a reflection of the inner, and it's hard at first, but once we get going, you can really start changing your life. So your homework for this video is to just take your notebook, which hopefully you're all keeping track of some things in there. I want you to just really dive into an emotional pattern in your world, to pinpoint an emotion as fine-tuned as you can, and really look to see if it's, if it's coming in various aspects of your life, of your home life, your work life, your friendships, an emotion that you're feeling pretty consistently. Maybe it's anger, frustration, sadness, being unworthy or inferior, or perhaps you are on the flip side of that and you're hopeful and you're empowered and you feel very capable. Identify a few of those and write those down. And in the next video, the fun really begins because we can begin to understand ways to clean up our energy field with our emotions and our thoughts. And once we do that, we can start to recognize hopefully some impacts in our physical world to truly change our lives. So hopefully this video has provided you with some more information to think about and ponder. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, namaste.